Right. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Anza, back again with another episode of Rendezvous with Anza Saqib on CxO Global TV. CxO Global Forum is a knowledge sharing platform for all C levels across Pakistan and the globe. We're heavily contributing to the knowledge economy of Pakistan, and we wish to do so in the world as well. Every time we have some very interesting guests with us today as well. We've got a lady for a change. Her name is Miss Esen Rizvi. She is the CEO of Creative Rhythms, and she has extensive experience in really marketing, building narratives, brands, strategy, all of that. We're going to speak to her, and we're going to hear her story today. Hi, Esen, how are you?
Hi Anza, I'm doing very well. Thank you so much for having me here.
Of course, no, it's always a pleasure, especially when we see a lot of women that have, joined CXO. It's very, very inspiring. Listen, tell us about your journey so far. So, where you went to school, what courses you studied, how did you end up becoming the CEO that you are today? It's something very inspirational, especially for younger girls that are watching this.
Okay, so if I was to start this from from academics really. So I got my degree in communication design from Indus Valley School, and communication design is a great program because you either get marketing or you get design, but communication design actually blends both of those together, and it gives you the ability to integrate your critical and analytical skills. And that's why when we step into the advertising world, we have that sensibility to approach our problem solving with a blend of both of those together. So whenever we're approaching design, because the design world today is multifaceted, and you need that approach over there. So this program actually helped me to have that. And then when we stepped into the creative world in the advertising, it was like different advertising agencies that I got to work with, which was interesting. Ittifaq say that this happened, that I was with a production house, then I was with a 360 complete advertising agency, then I was with a BTL agency, which was just BTL. But while we were there, I set up their creative department, their digital department. So it gave me the ability to actually see the teething issues that come in, and that's why I was able to learn. Otherwise, when you set up your own whatever new company or organization you're setting up, you don't have that experience, but when you set it up for someone else, you learn. And I was blessed that I had mentors, I had people who were supporting me, my team, and all of them. So together, and actually what happened was, then again, we plan things, but there's a bigger plan happening. So we just so in 2014 I had to leave my job for some family commitments I had to take care of. So I thought I'm taking a break from the professional world, but I did not know that that was the time, that because my freelance projects started to roll in, and it was actually shaping, giving me the ground for setting up Creative Rhythms, which I did not know. I thought this was my time out. And because we are so used to of the the corporate life that we're living, तो वो बिल्कुल free you can't sit. And that's how the freelance project started to come in. I started taking it under the same banner, and it gave wings to Creative Rhythms, and it has reached, alhamdulillah, where it is sitting today.
Wow, so that in itself is an inspiring story. I was just going through your LinkedIn as well, and mashallah, what a brilliant profile at such a young age. And it's funny you mentioned communication design, because a lot of young people, they don't understand that this is the perfect blend of art and science at the end of the day. Isn't I, was going through the rest of your bio as well and your LinkedIn profile. In a polarized market like Pakistan, where you're literally involved in conventional mainstream marketing like billboards and TV commercials and everything, and now that we've evolved into new age digital marketing like influencers and social media marketing, how does one create the right kind of strategy and the mix to sell a product or service? Because I'm sure you deal with this paradigm every single day.
And so again, there is no set formula for this, because every brand and every service is different. And I think it is very essential for sadly, still in our country, a lot of people don't spend on strategy, on research. And that is where they suffer, because we need to understand that, again, mainstream marketing is something that will always be there and it has to be there. But digital, especially after the corona times, has peaked to another level. So you have to have that blend, but you need to understand that if your audience is, is the masses, then mainstream marketing, TV and radio has to be touched. It has to be. But if you're, if you're targeting a niche group, they're not on TV, they're not watching radio, they have their selective areas where they go on digital. You have to tap into that accordingly. So it's actually understanding. And again, like all of us, we're connected right now. Like our engagement is connected. When we're going to Facebook, that's a different kind of content we want to see there. On LinkedIn, we don't want same content. On Insta, we want it tailored to how we want to see it. So we need to understand that it's not just about where you're marketing, what platform you're using, how effective your strategy and your content is, and your reach is defined accordingly. Because today, quite honestly, we have advertising everywhere. So we need to break that clutter, and by breaking that clutter, you don't just need to be everywhere. You need to be sensibly be there at the time when your audience is ready to receive you. So that's why we say that it's actually a very interesting thing that we've received today, that we have this blend. It's just how to creatively use it and to use it to our advantage.
Definitely brilliantly put. Esen, I was reading this research the other day, and they said that nowadays, in the past 5 years, it's more prevalent than ever that people, even the end consumer, they only want to do business with people that they know, like, and trust. Hence, there's been a great rise in influencer marketing. So, what is your personal take on this, and what potential do you see for it in the coming years?
uh, it's great that it has always been there. Again, influencer marketing was always there, but we only had celebrities that we could engage for that. Then bloggers came in, right? But influencers itself is like a complete range of those over there. And the interesting part about them is that they have all organic followers, okay? Because they've built it slowly to the kind of audience they have today. And they won't just do any paid content. They're very, very selective in the content they put in. So this is so helpful when you're reaching out to a niche audience, because again, these influencers have already have that social proof. So when they're saying something, your product automatically gets that push that you need. And we've seen phenomenal results with that. But again, very important that which influencer you're targeting, what kind of audience that person has, because that research actually sets the tone for your marketing campaign to hike. So I feel
Absolutely.
it has great potential. It will go places from here also, because now you can also introduce the free giveaway or something over there. So these influencers also have the edge to directly take your product to your relevant audience, so which was never there before. So that's
Mm-hmm.
amazing.
Right. But with these influencers, I mean, one can't help also see the fact that some of them, they do, misuse the kind of influence that they have, especially over the younger lot, because we saw in the recent couple of years, a couple of these influencers, they literally got mobs behind one another, and especially in Karachi, I remember at a mall there was an incident that happened because one of these social media stars said something about the other. Same goes for the kind of influence that they can have over a product. We've seen this in the form of food bloggers in particular. How do you think this can be curtailed? Because you guys are the ones that are building the narratives.
Yes. See, again, we give them some content, but at the same time, they build their own content as well, right? You cannot dictate them. That is something that you cannot just ask them to read these lines and everything. And
And doesn't that scare
any
you?
it doesn't scare you, because you select your people accordingly. right?
Okay.
So at times for certain brands, you like all of that, chaos that comes with it. But with certain, you don't want to actually, go into that area. So every time, there, because today everybody has a voice on digital, everybody has a voice. So that is why this is something that we expect can happen, but you are also understanding that the advantage it's bringing to you. So looking at the bad side of it, then you use it to your advantage. You see how what could be the what could be different crisis management that can take place if something of the sort happens. You counteract it by giving, like, if something of the sort happens, then you give them some content which is in relation to what has just happened to cover it and all of that. So this is all a lot of firefighting that you have to do if it happens. But on the whole, it's a good thing. It's a good way to reaching out to our audience, and I feel it's got a lot of potential.
Right. So speaking about brands and strategy, I know one of the things that you people have to do is do, like you mentioned, firefighting, and there's a lot of PR that's involved. Lately, a video went viral on social media. I'm not going to quote any names here, but for the sake of understanding, I know the restaurant owners and the whole fiasco that happened. So, what would you consider as a big PR nightmare for a brand, and how have you had to deal with such situations with regards to your clients?
And so actually, anytime, again, with a brand or a service, trust is sitting at the bottom of it. And anytime a reputation is at stake, whether it's a negative review, it's a scandal, it's a case of data breach, whatever it is, anytime a reputation is put to stake, a brand suffers. It definitely suffers. But obviously, we understand that, and we always have some kind of a backup strategy to think about ways how to handle it, because it's very important. One is not supposed to come with a counter excuse or a reaction right away. So time is very necessary, that when something happens, you respond to it, but you respond with the best ways possible to understand. We also need to understand that we all have a responsibility here. All of us have a
Mhm.
responsibility here. So, I would not say that this is the worst nightmare of PR. Any kind of thing that happens, which can, which puts you in a state where there's a PR crisis, it's a nightmare anyway. Okay, anybody, nobody wants that, right? But then again, that's what I'm saying, that the firefighting that we do, uh, it obviously that sets the tone for how the, because again the next day there's going to be some other news making headlines, so the time's going to pass, but how nicely you handled it and how nicely the brand was able to come out of it is all that matters.
Absolutely. And speaking of firefighting, this last year with the pandemic, we all know that a lot of brands suffered heavily. Some brands used this opportunity and their sales skyrocketed. Uh, what was common with every business was that there was a big learning curve. How was your line of work affected? And because I'm sure at this point in time, brands and services, all businesses that were your clientele expected you to help save sales or curtail their losses. What kind of measures did you have to take, and was there a learning curve?
There was definitely a learning curve. I would say 2020 has actually taught us a lot, and it's interesting. If we were to look at the positive side of it, it has really taught us that the wheel keeps moving. No matter what, it keeps moving unless we stop. Unless we stop, the world keeps going, things keep going. And it tells us also that, with time, we have to adapt our strategies. We have to change things, because that's how it goes on. So we were obviously heavily struck as well, especially our event sector was hugely affected. It still is to some level, but now things are coming back. But the events market has been affected. But at the same time, it gave us other avenues like digital. We were just dealing with content marketing, and that's all what we were doing. But
Mhm.
digital, we were forced to look into that side, and it had a lot of other scope in it. We set up our AR and VR wings. So,
Wow.
augmented reality and
Yeah.
virtual reality actually,
Wow.
got more things. And it's interesting today because today events market is coming back, the old is coming back. But, when that door closed, we opened two, three more doors. So today the old is back as well, in some ways, a little improvised. But, we've got other areas also. So it's it's a good
It's
way.
a work in progress. Speaking of some of the conventional methods, we know that in Pakistan, in particular, ATL BTL is a big market. There's a big market for these activities here. Do you think this would be true post-pandemic as well? Do you think there's still scope for kiosks and events and stuff like that, or because now the world is
No,
taking a
see,
shift towards?
now more of hybrid events are taking place. So you engage a small number and then you amplify it digitally. So the impact that it had, where we were seeing a lot of people coming out, is obviously. But again, malls are open. You step out, you see markets; they're full of people. So that fear has actually kind of dissolved, and it is kind of making roads for itself. So maybe next year, I don't know, but also we've figured out that we can still, like, initially the 2020, like, everybody just disappeared. The audience were just on digital. They were nowhere to be
Mhm.
found.
Mhm.
Today it's coming.
Mhm.
Even like the corporate events are coming back. People were scared, but they're now doing. There are like sales conferences happening. People are taking their employees. They're doing events. Yeah, concerts. These things probably are still. Cinemas. These are still under question mark. But I feel for how long? You know.
Right.
It will.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Essen, since you've been involved in this field for quite some time, there's this new buzzword that's come up globally about, data intelligence and business intelligence. And then we talk about surveys as well, understanding your consumer market. Do you think this is an overrated concept, or in your line of work, is it something that you take seriously before creating the strategy for a brand?
Uh, No, obviously, these things, I would say that it does matter, and it's like this is obviously being considered, all of this. But, at the same time, like the different, you're talking about the zones that are coming in, right?
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
yeah. So, it's interesting, and I feel that it will play a key role in promoting different skills development, generating employment, creating new economic value. It will add to all of that. It definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're going to do something interesting. We usually do this with a few of our clients, and this was supposed to be extempore, which is why had to speak to you, didn't speak to you about these earlier. So we're going to do a quick rapid fire round. So I'm going to take a few names,
Okay.
and the first thing that comes to your mind, be absolutely candid, right? So I'm going to name a couple of brands and influencers, and you have to tell me one-worded responses, or maybe just a couple of words, right? So Ganji swag.
Hmm. Um. Okay. Uh, I would say. What would I say? Fun. Yeah.
Okay. Yellow sound station.
Wello Sound Station. Uh, Giving rhythm a new name.
Okay, great. Paid promotions.
Sorry, come again. Your voice broke
Paid
in the middle. Yeah.
promotions. Paid promotions.
Paid promotions. Paid promotion. What am I supposed to, like, give a name to paid promotion?
The first thing that comes to your mind.
It's the most end thing right now. It's like yeah. For marketing, it's the
Okay.
most everybody wants paid promotions.
Okay. Personal preferences. Billboards or Google ads.
Google ads.
Okay. Coffee or tea. Okay, all right. So, sensational news or responsible journalism?
Sensational news or, sorry, what's your second
Responsible
word?
journalism. Sensational news or responsible journalism?
Responsible journalism anytime.
All right. Coffee or tea?
Tea.
All right. Thank you so much, Esen. Those were just a couple of questions that we wanted to do after a very serious conversation. It's been an absolute honor and a pleasure to have you here. There's a lot that we got to learn from you. The last thing that I would like to ask you would be, how has being a part of CxO Global Forum impacted your life?
I think it's a great thing that Kamal and all of you guys are doing. This was, we did not have any such platforms where the corporate world could come together, and it's amazing that you've provided that platform, and we've become a greater force because it's enlightening and it's inspiring to have so many great minds and so many people capable of doing things, and we're all under one roof supporting each other, and we formed into a greater force, which is hopefully inshallah gonna the country's gonna benefit out of it. So it's interesting. It was much needed, and I'm glad to be a part of it.
Thank you so much for those inspiring words. Thank you, Esen. Ladies and gentlemen, just like Ms. Rizvi said, together we all can become a greater force. We will join you again next time with yet another interesting guest. Stay tuned. Thank you so much for your
Thank you
time.
so much, Ansa. Take care. Thank you.
Thank you.